Welcome to College Town Talk. I'm Jonathan Frank, News and Public Relations Director for Tennessee Tech.
And I'm Shan, Stout, Director of Tourism for the Cookeville-Putnam County Visitors Bureau.
And if you're joining us for the first time, this is a podcast where we get to talk to Tennessee Tech faculty, staff, students, alumni, and the local small business owners and community leaders who make our home base here in Cookeville, Tennessee's college town.
Now, our two guests today have had a very big impact in terms of making Cookeville what it is today.
That's right. Today we're talking to Tennessee Tech Director of Athletics, Mark Wilson, who has served our campus for nearly 20 years.
And we're joined by Tennessee Tech alum Anna Dunn, the owner of Soul Craft Coffee right here on the west side in Cookeville and one of the gems of the Cookeville West Side.
You know, Shan, as we were talking to Anna, one of the things we discussed was that they just celebrated 4 years of their brick and mortar location. So that means they opened in 2019, right before the pandemic and all the challenges that entailed. And it really is a testament to their perseverance and what a great product they have on their hands that they've been able to not just stick it out, but really emerge as a staple of the downtown area and a favorite for so many.
Oh, they're absolutely wonderful. And they keep navigating and exploring ways to use their business. And Anna said that it was a great opportunity. It was meant to be for the podcast in this episode because she had just remodeled the upstairs at Soulcraft to be her own personal office space. So she was ready for us.
And Mark Wilson gave us the scoop on plans for Tucker Stadium. They're going to be rebuilding the west side of the stadium. It's going to be an all-new fan experience, new amenities, and a new way to enjoy Tennessee Tech football. So let's get right to that first interview with our guest, Mark Wilson, the Director of Tennessee Tech Athletics. Welcome back to College Town Talk. Our guest is Mark Wilson, Director of Athletics at Tennessee Tech. Mark came to Tennessee Tech back in 2004, and on his watch, Tech's student athletes have excelled on and off the field. While he's always first to give the credit to the coaches and players, his years at Tech saw the football team win their first OVC championship since 1975. Our tennis team won the regular season title 8 out of the last 10 years. Our baseball team claimed the OVC's first NCAA regional championship. And as many of our listeners will recall, our women's basketball team won the OVC championship earlier this year. Mark has received the Athletic Director of the Year Award for the Football Championship Subdivision from the National Association of Collegiate Directors of America, and he has chaired the NCAA Division I Football Championship Committee, as well as serving on its Football Oversight Committee. Mark, welcome to College Town Talk.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be with you today and excited to share a little bit about Tennessee Tech athletics.
Mark, we've got many questions we want to ask, but we don't want to bury the lead. President Oldham just announced that this will be the final football season at the current Tucker Stadium before work begins on the all-new west side of the stadium. And we know that our football players are looking forward to the planned construction of a new football operations center as well. What can you tell us about this announcement and the major construction projects that are on the horizon?
Both these projects are really exciting and really important to the future of Tennessee Tech football and Tennessee Tech athletics, but also Tennessee Tech University. They're impactful for the entire university and in our community. Let's start first with the Tucker Stadium, because as Dr. Oldham just has announced, at the conclusion of the 2023 football season, the west side of Tucker Stadium will be completely torn down, and there'll be a complete rebuild, taking over 2 football seasons of a whole new west side. And the big enhancements that you'll see are relative to what the fans can expect. We will now have chairback seating, clubs, low seats, suites, lots of different ways that people can see and enjoy the game. And those are the amenities that fans expect in today's athletic environment. And now we're able to provide those at Tennessee Tech's Tucker Stadium. So extremely excited about that. And from a player's perspective, it just shows a commitment that the university and that our alumni and friends have to football, and football, being successful We'll have a new game day locker room, a new game day training room. It'll really be a great enhancement for the experience of our student athletes. The football operations center, that will be the daily home of Tennessee Tech football. That's where our student athletes will have their primary locker room. It'll be the primary training room, their meeting rooms, the coaches' offices, and a practice facility. We're still fundraising for that, but that is really, we're doing a great job. I'm really pleased to partner with University Advancement. Thankful for all of our alumni and friends that are helping support that project, and that'll really propel football to be a regular contender for Ohio Valley Conference championships, and to be able to make a big noise on the national scene, and hopefully have an opportunity to compete for a national championship. There are other projects going on that people will see over the course of this year. Turf at baseball, softball, where all the locker rooms, all the public, public restrooms at the Hooper Evelyn Center, those are currently under construction. So those will be enhanced before the 23-24 basketball season. So fans will see upgrades there, because they were original 1977 bathrooms from when the hoop was built. And there's lots of other things that are going on, probably too much for us to mention.
Well, you hit all the highlights for sure, Mark. Now, Tucker Stadium, as we know it today, has stood for more than 55 years, I think. And you've been at Tech for what, nearly 20? Yeah. So
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sure, 20 years is a long time. So you have to be feeling some nostalgia. Do you have maybe a favorite memory from the stadium?
I have two favorite memories from my time at Tennessee Tech. The first one is my very first home football game when Tennessee Tech hosted Gardner Webb. And as time expired, Drew Hickson made a leaping touchdown in the corner of the end zone, got both feet on the ground, touchdown, Tennessee Tech, and the Golden Eagles won that football contest. And that was very uplifting to me. It's more meaningful to me now because the very next game at the University of South Florida, Drew Hickson suffered a severe injury. So I have that euphoria from 1 week, and then the heartbreak and everything else that went with Drew's injury in week 2. So, but that's a great memory for me. And the other one was in 2011, when head coach Watson Brown led the Golden Eagles to their first championship since 1975, and we're looking to host a playoff game. The students wanted to rush the field and tear down the goalposts. I was negotiating with the students, don't take the goalposts because I can't get them replaced by next Saturday to host a game. And that was a lot of fun with our students and their excitement. And then after we won, of course, the football players lifted the coach up on their shoulders. They lifted each other up on their shoulders, and one of the things they did was lift me up on their shoulders, and that was very uplifting with that bond that I had with the members of that team.
Well, Mark, in addition to the many successes of Tech student athletes on the field over your years as athletic director, our athletes also just recorded their 29th straight semester with an average GPA above 3.0. And I know that's got to make you proud, and I know that doesn't happen by accident. How do you and your coaches continue to set such a high bar for our student athletes, and how do they continue to meet it?
I am extremely proud of that. Our student athletes do a great job in the classroom and achieve academically. That starts in the coaches' recruitment of student athletes. The young men and young women that play sports at Tennessee Tech, we expect them to excel academically, and that starts when we recruit them. And we expect them to graduate from Tennessee Tech and get a great degree that's going to help propel their lives and give them an advantage in life, to be able to provide for their family and be meaningful in whichever community that they want to locate. That starts there. The coaches, we have a WIN program, a Work Intensely Now program, that was implemented by Dr. Susan Gutkin, who was our academic advisor at the time. We continue to use that today. It's an accountability. It's a way that we help our student athletes set expectations, but also we provide them the resources in terms of study hall, tutoring, advising, all the support that they need to be successful academically. And what we tell them, we want you to all to reach your fullest individual potential. If your individual potential is a 3.9, that's where we want you to be. If it's a 3.3, that's where we want you to be. But also, we got to give credit to the faculty at Tennessee Tech. The faculty at Tennessee Tech are dynamite. They teach all of our students at Tennessee Tech at a very high level. Our students at Tennessee Tech achieve at a very high level. We just get the opportunity to publicize what our student athletes do, and that's really in line with the general student body.
I love everything about that. Now, Mark, you've called Cookeville home for a very long time now, but you did your schooling all the way up in Maine and Massachusetts. And you previously have done work in Ohio. So you've been here, there, and everywhere. What was it about tech that made you decide this was the right fit for you?
During my interview process, I really felt like it was a family atmosphere. And if you look at Tennessee as a whole, it's very similar to Maine. And Maine is the state that I was raised in. I was born and raised in Maine. And, people are very caring. People are very helpful. People are very genuine and how they treat others and how they operate as communities. And I really felt like that Cookeville and Tennessee Tech offered all that. So it was a place that I was very comfortable, and I've been so blessed to be able to call this home for since 2004, because the average tenure of a Division One athletic director is like 7 point something years, and here I am. I've just started year 20, and hopefully I'll still be here to be able to complete year 20 on June 30th of 2024.
And Mark, as athletic director, I know that you oversee, I believe it's 15 intercollegiate sport teams here at Tech. That's a lot of teams, and the casual observer out there might not be aware of everywhere that Tech competes. I'm sure a lot of our listeners recall our women's basketball teams, their OVC championship win earlier this year, which was such a proud moment for the university. But maybe they don't know about the success our teams have had in baseball or tennis. So, what do you think are the untold stories of Tech athletics right now?
The untold stories of Tennessee Tech athletics is that we are a place of opportunity. We're a place for young men and young women that want to play, college sports, that may have not had the opportunity to be recruited by, a Power Five like SEC, Big Ten, ACC level program, but still want to continue their athletic pursuits in college. And so we are a place of opportunity for that. And my proudest moments are when our male and female student athletes just have remarkable individual achievements. Most recently, there's one, Lars Anders, a freshman on our men's golf team, just qualified for the TPC John Deere Classic. What a great accomplishment for an up and coming sophomore. And there's so many stories like that, time and time again, of young men and young women at Tennessee Tech. And we win a lot of championships. I think back to last year also, the Golden Eagles soccer team won their first championship in over 20 years. And what a great accomplishment for those young women and Coach Springthorpe and Coach Boyd. But it's seeing the euphoria of their faces. But I will tell you that, and I tell our student athletes this when coaches ask me to meet with them in recruiting, you would think my proudest moment is when they win championships. My proudest moment is when I see young men and young women walk across the stage of the Hooper Evelyn Center and shake Dr. Olam's hand, meaning that they have earned a degree from Tennessee Tech, because that's really what's going to propel them in life. Our student athletes, we want them to aspire to go, be a Frank Omial who had a long career in the National Football League, or Scott Stallings who's had a really successful career on the PGA Tour. But those opportunities are few and far between for the young men and young women that compete as student athletes at Tennessee Tech. So the academics is so important, and that is my proudest moment, is when they walk across that stage and they pick up that diploma, because they have achieved something that is life changing for them individually and their families.
Well, I agree with that because I'm expecting my daughter to walk across that stage next year if all goes to plan. So I can understand it's a big achievement for them and it's life changing. And finally, Mark, we always end our podcast with the same question. What is one way that Tennessee Tech has impacted your life?
I work for the students of Tennessee Tech. We are all here to serve the students, and I love the relationships that I build with students, that you know I've been here 19 years now, and that, maybe I haven't seen them for 5 years, but they come back and they say, Mr. Wilson or Mark or whatever they call me. And just that relationship that we are able to build. And yes, for me, a lot of it is student athletes, but there's other students on campus that I've been able to build those strong relationships with. And the relationships are what is meaningful. Higher education athletics, NCAA athletics, it is a relationship, people-driven enterprise. And our investment is our people, and we work for our students, and we work to provide positive experience, learning opportunities, opportunities for our students to achieve at the highest levels. For us in athletics, it's academically, athletically, socially, and in the community. And that's where I get my energy each and every day, is serving our student athletes and serving the students of Tennessee Tech. And that is how they have impacted my life in such a positive, uplifting way.
Well, Mark, thank you for your time and for being our guest on College Town Talk.
It's my honor. Thank you for having me today. Wings up.
And for our listeners, you can get the latest news on Tennessee Tech athletics by going to ttusports.com. Welcome back, everyone, to College Town Talk. We're joined now by Tennessee Tech alum and local entrepreneur, Anna Dunn. She and her husband, Tyler, launched Soulcraft Coffee in 2017 out of a converted camper. I know some of you remember that. Now, in 2019, their dream found a permanent home with a space of its own in Cookeville's historic West Side. Now, their hot espresso drinks and fresh baked Pop Tarts are a favorite of tech students and myself, Cookeville locals and visitors alike, making Soulcraft Coffee truly a staple of Tennessee's college town. Anna, welcome so much to College Town Talk.
Shan, Jonathan, thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here and very grateful.
Now, Anna, we've got a lot that we want to ask you about today, but first, now, Soulcraft, they just celebrated 4 years of its brick and mortar location in Cookeville on the west side. Congratulations, first off. But my question is, when you look back at the early days of this business to where you are today, what must that mean to you?
It's really a special thing. And this is the question where I wish Tyler was sitting beside me, because it is really awesome to see what we have worked for and just honestly grinded for every day for the last really 6 years to kind of come to fruition and sort of be its own thing. And that's what we wanted all along, to create this beautiful idea and to just kind of let it be whatever it is. And, obviously with guidance and all of these things that we're passionate about, but it's kind of created its own ethos and its own thing. And it's so really beautiful to watch. And I think when you work really hard for something and it doesn't come just immediately, the end is so much sweeter. Like this moment that we're in right now, getting the opportunity to sit and talk with you guys, it just makes it really really sweet and awesome and grateful and all those things. And I just thinking about working 7 days a week for 2 years while we were both working our full-time jobs. And I remember on Sundays we always meal prepped, and so, or we still do, but we would go by the grocery store. We would take the coffee trailer, the truck and trailer, we pull it into the back of Kroger. We would go in and get our food for the week and go home and make it and start all over again. So it was like we just really grinded and developed that really cool customer base. That because at the very beginning, the trailer days, we really didn't know what it was going to be. We thought, let's see if Cookeville can support specialty coffee. Let's make it like we want. Let's house make these syrups. Let's do some seasonal drinks and stuff like that, and see if Cookeville was ready. And of course, as we know, very much ready. But we didn't know at that point that we would be in a brick and mortar. And so just to kind of look back and see sort of your baby, right? Your baby is born and we've created this thing, and then here we are. And it is really, really special.
Anna, when people visit Soulcraft Coffee, as I do quite often, I think one of the things that's most striking is you've got the aroma of the coffee and the pastries, but there's also this beautiful space that you all have created. There's the exposed brick, the Art Deco accents, the 100-year-old hardwood floors. You can really tell that every detail was chosen with a lot of thought and care. So, for our listeners who maybe haven't been there before, can you tell us about the space and why you wanted to preserve its history?
Yes, yeah, that was really, really important to us. So when we got the opportunity to be on the West Side, which is maybe a story for another day, but we walked in. It was an old, just a place where people, like an office space. So dark walls, brown walls, and just carpet, and it just was not really appealing. And so we felt like, what happens when we strip all this down and take it back to its original roots, really? And so there was plaster on the walls, kind of like there's plaster behind me. I think there's probably brick behind this, but we sort of took all that plaster off and exposed that brick, and there was flooring. So there was carpet. We took the carpet up, and then there was another layer of flooring. And I just looked at Tyler one day, and because there was about that big of a space, we had taken out a door casing, and about this big of a space was this beautiful dark hardwood. And I looked at Tyler and I was like, would it not be so cool if the floor was like, if all of it was like this? And turns out 95% of the flooring was still there, and it was still in pretty good shape. And so we pulled all that flooring out and just exposed the original hardwood floor from the early 1900s, and just to bring homage to what was here, in a way that's also modern. So you talked about the Art Deco. And I'm grateful that you recognize that, because at the beginning, and our vision was very much Art Deco. And so Tyler and I, we did the build out ourselves. Talking, you don't have a lot of money, and you kind of have to do things yourselves. And we're grateful for that. I think it also means more that we've put our blood, sweat, and tears literally into this space. But yeah, the whole front of the bar is Art Deco, like that gold and the blue. And yeah, it meant a lot to us to preserve that, and preserve that space in a way that brings homage to the West Side, the historic West Side, and the space in general. So.
Well, Anna, it is a gorgeous space. And beyond the space itself, you also have just a stunning menu. There's always new seasonal specials. How do you come up with what you're going to put on your menu? Because it's all so fantastic.
Thank you so much, Shan. So kind of how it started, right, was on the trailer, and we sort of created these classic drinks, and then we would throw out these, seasonal menu items on the trailer. And when we started the brick and mortar, and as we've grown with employees and creativity, we have sort of created this awesome monster, this beautiful creature so they all get excited when we start talking about the new menus. So we'll say, all right, this is the date of the new menu. What do you got? And so we sort of share it with all of our employees, and they give us feedback, and they all can bring at least two at the most drinks to the table. And what we do is we jury them. So they get an opportunity to make their drink, and then we all vote, and it's a democracy. So whatever gets the most votes gets on the menu. And so your summer menu was a true picture of that, where we brought some old things back that we've had, like our cherry limeade, our sunflower. But a new thing that happened this year was our pina colada. And Reed, my manager, he's the one who came up with that. And it's so beautiful to allow them the autonomy to create something and give them the tools to do that, and then allowing them to sort of showcase that and share it with our community.
I think I need to be a part of that jury. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, y'all can come right on.
Anna, you and I spoke earlier this year for a different story that I was working on, and you shared something that I thought was kind of profound. You talked about how a big part of the why behind your starting this business was giving people a reason to stay. I remember that's what you said, giving people a reason to stay in the community and to know that they don't have to leave town to find, you know, great coffee and this kind of elegant experience that you've created for them with Soulcraft. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
And so I think, you know, a little bit about my why of even tech and all these things that are really important to me is to create an ethos of a space where people can come and they feel welcome and they're like, I can see myself raising a family here or opening a business here or whatever, you know, just having my dogs here, whatever it might be. And I'm just really, really passionate about creating spaces and creating an environment where it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, you're welcome. And I think maybe looking back at my, you know, earlier experiences, just as a young person, I wanted that. I wanted that for me and for Tyler. And you know, we had an opportunity. Tyler has his undergrad degree in accounting. We could have gone to Nashville, all these other things. There was an opportunity, and we just looked at each other and said, I think it's here. I think we invest in our community and we stay and we bring these beautiful things that we're so passionate about. We bring them right here and we just create something that is different and also educate people and let them know, hey, this is what we're doing and this is why we're doing it. And so it's opportunities like this that really allow us to sort of share that. And so, yeah, we just, that is part of, and that's why we employ college students. Some of them are college students, some of them decided not to go to college. And we're also, you know, love that for them, that they can, that we're living in a world now that, it, you know, if your path is different than someone else's, that's okay. But the majority of people that we employ are going to tech and investing in them and sort of saying, hey, there's an opportunity here for you, you know, stay.
I love that. Now, speaking of students that are on campus and all of that good stuff, let's take a time machine and rewind a bit back to when you were a tech student, because in addition to you being a tech alum, your husband, and let's not forget your business partner, Tyler, also went to tech. So go back to your days on campus. Maybe what is one of your favorite memories from being at tech?
It's definitely interesting to go back down memory lane. Tyler and I have been together a really long time, and he's definitely, I can't leave him out. I always like to talk about him because he's the yin to the yang. I'm sort of the face, and he is absolutely carries as much or more weight on the back end. So he's the accountant, he's the numbers, he's making sure all of our kids get paid and like all of this, you know, all this really, really important stuff. He's really good at, and we really work really well together in that. And who knew? And that's so funny because we've been together so long. It's like we just really complement each other in business, and I'm really grateful for that. But yeah, so he got his degree in accounting from Tennessee Tech, and I got mine in psychology. And so those classes don't really cross paths very often. And so we found some electives that we could take together, and one was backpacking and one was ballroom dancing. And so he and I had an opportunity when we were in college to take those classes together, and that was, I mean, I have lots of really, really wonderful memories of college, but that's one that kind of brings us both together and allowed us to kind of connect and learn something new. Ranger Robin, who I don't think she's teaching anymore, but she taught the backpacking class. She's amazing. And she also taught ballroom dance. So she taught both those classes, and she really just spurred in us this desire to be outside and to camp and those sort of things. And so we found that connection together and do that a lot when we're, you know, not working. But yeah, that's a really awesome memory that I have from going to school at Tech.
And we should mention, Anna, that outside of your work with Soulcraft, I know you're also a realtor in town. So you wear a lot of hats. You stay pretty busy. How do you make time for it all?
Well, it has been a journey, that's for sure. There are seasons where I'm better at it than others, but I think boundaries, and I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but just having some kind of set boundaries and that says, okay, well, I'm working on this today. Today is Monday. We're recording on a Monday. This is a real estate day. And so you probably won't see me behind the bar on a Monday unless, someone's out of town or whatever, because I dedicate certain days to certain things. And yeah. And so and I also think that, we do have a dog, but we don't have any kids. And I think that has a lot to do with it too, is, we both really love to work. Tyler also has his full-time job. And so we really enjoy that. We enjoy doing all kinds of different things. And so I think that is, it is a challenge, but to just kind of create the life that you want, I have to just do one thing. I can do a couple things if I want. We had an Airbnb for a long time, and we've got storage units and rentals. And so all these things too, like, it just kind of keeps things interesting. I guess not that Soulcraft is really interesting and there's a lot going on, but yeah.
Now, finally, Anna, because obviously you are very, very busy, and we'll let you get back to it, but we like to end each interview by asking the same question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. What is one way that Tennessee Tech has impacted your life?
That's such a great question. I think
besides giving you a husband, I mean, that's pretty impactful.
Besides doing all this other amazing stuff, I think what tech means to me right now, I mean, it means a lot of things and has meant a lot of things over the years, but this bringing really, really awesome. I get emotional thinking about it because I love my kids. I'm upstairs and they're downstairs, so I'm pointing, but I love them so much, and they create such a beautiful space that obviously we have, helped to, tell them, hey, this is what we want. This is the space we've created. This is the kind of way we want our customers to feel, and the interaction and, the quality and all of these important things, but they bring their own really, really special things to the table, and getting to invest in them and getting outside of tech, right? So they're all going to tech and they're all getting degrees and they're doing all these awesome things, but they're coming to work and, getting to share with them our leadership knowledge and to learn from them and to invest in them and hopefully help them to stay. So those are the things that are the root of our why. Obviously we love coffee, we love sourcing, we love all those things. And I can talk all day about that, but what's equally important is the customer interaction and training our employees to do a really, really great job so that they can continue to do a great job, but they can also go out into the world and be really good people and share that love and share that, whatever they've learned here, they can share it wherever they go. And, again, hopefully they stay here. But if they don't, we're ushering out this new, group of young people that care about each other and want to leave each other better than they found them. And that's one of the things I say when I interview people is when they come to work, want to work at Soulcraft, is if I could say one thing, it's you leave your fellow friend, anyone you're working with, better than you found them. You help someone, you answer a question. I think right now today, that's what I feel Tennessee Tech has been doing for us is bringing us really, really awesome kids. So,
well, folks, you heard it here. It's the Soulcraft Mentor Program for tech students. I appreciate it. Anna, thank you so much for coming on College Town Talk today. We appreciate you spending your time with us.
Thank you so much, Shan and Jonathan, for having me. It was an honor.
And for our listeners, be sure to check out Soulcraft Coffee, located at 43 West Broad Street in Cookeville's historic West Side. They are open Monday through Saturday, and you can find them online at soulcraftcoffee.com.
We want to thank Mark and Anna for being our guests today. And if you're enjoying this podcast, please take a moment to subscribe, review, and share.
Join us again next week for more conversations from right here in Cookeville, Tennessee's college town. College Town Talk is presented by Tennessee Tech University in partnership with the Cookeville-Putnam County Visitors Bureau. Your hosts are Jonathan Frank and Shan Stout, and original music is performed by Andrew Buckner. Visit us online at tntech.edu/collegetowntalk.